If there's one genre we can't get enough of on the channel, it's co-op roguelikes. Cool characters, build diversity, and challenging runs, count us in. But with so many roguelikes out there, a game really has to stand out, and 13Z The Zodiac Trials does just that. This upcoming 2 to 4 player online roguelike sports a striking anime art style and a compelling premise. You and other animal spirits are battling through the Zodiac Trials for the chance to become the 13th Eastern Zodiac Guardian. Ahead of its co-op playtest live today, the team at Mixed Realm gave us early access to the build and offered to sponsor this preview. As always, sponsorship or not, our opinions remain our own as we're committed to showcasing quality co-op games on this channel. With all that said, let's dive into our preview of 13Z The Zodiac Trials.
Oh, I froze him.
Oh, you froze him.
Yo, wait, what the heck? That's so sick.
He is wet, bro. He is wet.
Oh my god.
Oh, we're popping off. Dude, he's got a lot of health.
Before I dive into the gameplay loop, I want to quickly preface that this is a playtest and still a work in progress. You might notice some frame rate drops or unfinished animations, but that's to be expected at this stage. The important thing is we still had a lot of fun with the game, and these issues should get ironed out before its early access launch. 13Z begins with a great opening cinematic that introduces you to the world and the trials. It's honestly pretty well done with some nice animation and a narrator that guides you throughout the game. Speaking of guides, you'll start by going through a brief tutorial guided by Pig, the 12th Zodiac. It's fitting that the last Zodiac is the one guiding the potential 13s, and hopefully we don't meet him in battle cause he looks like he could pack a punch. After the tutorial, you arrive at Turtle Village, which serves as your hub. Here you can interact with NPCs and access the cultivation tree, where you'll spin your jade to unlock permanent upgrades. These range from practical perks like extra rerolls and self-revives, to more unique options such as the ability to visit Rooster's airship once per run. It's classic roguelike progression, ensuring that each run gradually becomes more varied and rewarding. You'll also find a training section where you can switch characters and get acquainted with their abilities. Currently, you can play as Fox or Raven, with Panda and Cat joining the roster with the early access launch. Once you've picked your character, it's time to dive into a run. Each run consists of combat encounters across various floating islands. Most islands require you to clear all enemies before moving on, but some offer extra challenges. For example, Monkey will show up and test your skills with objectives like surviving waves without taking damage or clearing enemies under a time limit. Mini-bosses also appear throughout, and each act culminates in a showdown with one of the 12 Zodiacs. Of course, after each arena, you're rewarded with a technique or a seal. Techniques upgrade your movesets, while seals augment them with an element like thunder or fire. There's other ways to get stronger, like finding relics, and you'll also be collecting jade to spin at the tree back at the village. If you've played a roguelike before, most of this should sound familiar, so finally, let's get into our impressions and how 13Z really took us by surprise.
Bro, this is S tier fighting. Come on.
This is awesome. Oh my god, this is so sick.
I won't beat around the bush here, this is some of the best combat we've played in a co-op roguelike, full stop. 13Z gives you a great kit to play with. Primary and secondary attacks, a special move, a dash, and a charge attack. You can also perform a counter, and if you hold dash long enough, your character literally transforms into their animal form, an excellent touch. The combat system is incredibly fluid, letting you chain dodges with aerial hits and abilities for some seriously cinematic gameplay. It feels like something straight out of a shonen anime fight scene in the best way possible. We played as both Fox and Raven and were impressed by how differently they felt. Fox is an agile swordswoman built for short to medium range. She can launch enemies into the air with an uppercut slash, great for combos, and her special is perfect for finishing off groups of enemies. Raven, on the other hand, specializes in ranged combat. They have various projectile-based abilities, like a shadow crow that bounces between enemies. Their special lets them rain down daggers from the air, and with the right moves, you can practically stay airborne indefinitely. For such an early build of the game, the unique character kits are very promising. On top of mastering each kit, you can also add some of your own flair with seals. Seals are tied to different elements like earth and water, and not only imbue your attacks with that element, but also add unique effects. For example, picking up Storm Funnel lets you conjure electric fields when using a charge attack. Where things really get interesting though is with the synergy system, which encourages you to mix elements. One run I went for a fire and ice build, freezing enemies was my secondary move, and then burning them was my primary attack. But it's more than just visual flair. Combining elements applies unique effects. Burn plus frost triggers a steam eruption, while static and frost creates a freezing arc that chains to other enemies. This opens up opportunities for co-op builds where you and your partner can sync elemental effects for devastating combos. Outside of the monkey challenges, this is where 13C really encourages teamwork. At the start, I mentioned 3 key elements of a great roguelike: cool characters, build diversity, and challenging runs. So far, 13C nails the first 2. The only thing missing is difficulty. Right now, it feels just a bit easy. There's solid enemy variety and bosses have good movesets, but we rarely felt challenged. Some of that comes down to balancing. Raven, for instance, is a little overpowered right now, able to shred through enemies with ease. I know this is ongoing work we'll see in future playtests leading to the early access launch, but if the team can fine-tune the challenge, 13C will have all the pieces in place to become something special.
Oh, put him in a corner.
Okay, his shield's gone. Go, go, go.
Let's go.
Get wrecked, goat.
Hey, we got an A.
A flicker of hope.
Man, I got a B. What the heck?
What the heck? I think I hit once too.
To wrap things up here, I want to touch on some non-gameplay related aspects of 13C. The visuals have been a big highlight for us. Like I mentioned at the start, that's what initially drew us in. The anime aesthetic is really well done, and you can tell a lot of work has gone into the particle effects and world design. I mean, just look at these water physics. They're fantastic, and overall it's a huge leap from the first playtest. With the strong art direction setting such a great base, we can only imagine how much better it will get. Beyond the visuals though, the setting itself is super intriguing. At the end of one run, we actually ran into the goat Zodiac back at the village after sending him packing in a previous boss fight. There's an interesting aspect to the premise here where these bosses aren't really evil, they're just testing you throughout the trials. I hope the full game leans into that because I'd love to get some lore on the Eastern Zodiacs. Future updates will surely flesh this out even more. I was also surprised to learn that this isn't just capped at 2 players, but actually supports 4-player online co-op. With all of the synergies and crazy character kits, I think this will be a blast with friends. It remains to be seen whether 13C will lean more casual or hardcore, but either way, we can't wait to see more. 13C The Zodiac Trials is shaping up to be a fantastic co-op roguelike, and you can check it out for yourself right now with its co-op playtest live today on Steam. Thanks for watching, guys. We cover all things co-op games here, previews, reviews, and even news via our co-op monthly series. If you want to stay in the know, make sure you subscribe and follow us on our socials. If you want to support us, check out our Patreon where we give you first impressions of games via our Patreon exclusive series, Play and Banter. Thank you to those already supporting us there. We'll catch you next time on another episode of The Co-op Bros.